As a kid, all a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
The Buccaneers are going to be at home taking on the New Orleans Saints. This is the second matchup between these two teams this season. For the Saints, they defeated the Chicago Bears in overtime last week, 26-23. And for the Buccaneers, they were in a dogfight with the New York Giants this past Monday night, but they were able to pull off the victory, 25-23. And I had a feeling that the Buccaneers and Giants game was going to be pretty close, because I felt like Tampa Bay was going to kind of underplay or underperform, because I felt like they were going to be too busy looking ahead to this game. But nonetheless, the Buccaneers still got the W. So now, these two teams are going to be matched up in their second matchup this season. And let's rewind the clock back to 8 weeks ago, when the Saints defeated Tampa Bay week 1, 34-23. Now, do you guys remember what the narrative was about Tampa Bay after that week 1 loss in Tom Brady's first game as a Buccaneer? It was that, the Buccaneers are overrated. Tom Brady's washed up. This thing is going to work out, right? And now here we are, 8 weeks later. The Buccaneers are currently 6-2, and they look like the best team in the NFC, and they're walking into this game with a 3-game win streak. And do you guys remember the viral post that's going around about, it goes how it started versus how it's going right now? Well, how it started for Tampa Bay was really struggling offensively. And this really wasn't a surprise to me, because I was telling people, I said, look, don't count out the Buccaneers just because of one bad week 1 performance. I told everybody, I said, look, you got to understand something. That was Tom Brady's first game in-game action with this new team. Remind you that we had a shortened off season. We had no OTAs, no mini camps, no nothing. We had 1 month of training camp, and we had no preseason. So Tom Brady didn't really have any in-game chemistry with guys like Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. So I told everybody, I said, give the Buccaneers a couple of weeks to get the timing down, let Tom Brady to continue to master the offense, and I guarantee you that Tampa Bay is going to end up being one of the best teams in the NFC. And here we are a couple of weeks later, I was right. And it's crazy how everybody was just so quick to count out Tampa Bay after just one bad week 1 performance. Like, it was week 1. Like, that was Tom Brady's first game as a Buccaneer. So now the Buccaneers are 5.5 point favorite heading into this game. And when you look at the Buccaneers, this is a completely different team than what the New Orleans Saints faced week 1. Week 1, the Buccaneers lost that game because of turnovers. The Buccaneers had 3 turnovers in that game. That was a large reason why the Saints were able to pull off that victory. But now you're facing a Buccaneers team that is balanced. They not only are really good passing the football, but they can run the football as well with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. Okay? Their defense is a top 10 defense. And this isn't a surprise to me. A lot of people are shocked about how good the Buccaneers defense has been so far this season. It isn't to me, because if you guys remember, if you guys have been subscribed to the channel ever since the offseason, I said that the Buccaneers were going to have a top 10 defense. Levante David is playing like an all-pro. Antoine Winfield Jr. looks like he's going to end up being the defensive rookie of the year. The cornerbacks, Carlton Davis and Jamal Dean, have been outstanding. Tampa Bay's front 7 is getting pressure on quarterbacks. Like, this is a complete Buccaneers team. Now, you got to give props to the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are on a 4-game win streak right now, and they're battling for respect, because everybody's talking about who the best team in the NFC is, and nobody's mentioning the Saints in that conversation at all. The 2 teams that you hear the most, Seattle, Tampa Bay. The Saints aren't even in that discussion. And you have to kind of put the Saints in that discussion if they win this game. Now, I've been heavily critical of the Saints' defense so far this year, because the Saints' defense, in my opinion, has kind of underperformed. But over the last 2 weeks, they have kind of picked things up. Okay? And if you're a Saints fan, hopefully you're hoping to see Michael Thomas, who, ironically, the last time he played was week 1 against this very same team that they're going against this week, and Tampa Bay. We haven't seen Michael Thomas take the field ever since week 1, which was 8 weeks ago. So hopefully he's going to be able to play in this game. And Antonio Brown, he's expected to make his debut this week as well. He was practicing with Tampa Bay last time I checked Tuesday. So he could also have a factor in the role to play in this game. Now, for the Saints, if you want to be able to win this game, you have to be able to get pressure on Tom Brady. When teams have been able to get pressure consistently on Tom Brady, this offense has struggled. I.e., go back to that Thursday night game a couple of weeks ago when Chicago put off the upset against Tampa Bay. A big reason why Chicago put off the upset was because of all the pressure that Chicago was getting up front on Tampa Bay's offensive line. Now, Tampa Bay doesn't have the best offensive line. As a matter of fact, I think they have a barely average offensive line. Barely average, maybe above average, depending on how you want to word it. Okay? But Tom Brady's getting the ball out quick, and they're also balancing their play calling. So for New Orleans, if you're a Saints fan and the Saints were able to get consistent pressure on Tom Brady, constantly getting in his face, constantly forcing him to get the ball out quick, this could be a game that could favor the Saints because when Tom Brady has been under pressure, he hasn't really been all that great. So if you're the Saints, you have to be able to get pressure on Tom Brady in this game. And for this Buccaneers offense, this is a completely different offense than what you faced week 1. This is an offense, like I said earlier, is balanced. They can run the football. They can throw the football. And for the Saints defensively, they've had their fair share of struggles. But this is going to be the game that I decide if the Saints have really hit a corner defensively. Because it's easy to look good against the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears offense hasn't been good all year. Okay? And for the Saints offensively, they haven't really been all that spectacular. And the big reason for that is because Michael Thomas has not played, but it seems like the New Orleans Saints have just been able to do enough to make it by. It's been dink and dome, Alvin Kamara. They don't push the ball downfield a lot. So if you're Tampa Bay defensively, you need to force Drew Brees to take shots down the field. And even if Michael Thomas plays or doesn't play, the game plan should still be the same. Force New Orleans to beat you throwing the football downfield because this Saints offense hasn't really had a lot of big plays for more than like 40 plus yards or 50 yards or things like that. It's nothing wrong with the Saints offense. Do what you got to do to win. I'm not criticizing it. All I'm just saying is that that is a weakness that if you're Tampa Bay that you have to exploit. And Drew Brees has played okay. Well, I won't say Drew Brees has played solid, but Drew Brees still hasn't played like the Drew Brees we've been accustomed to seeing over the years. There has been a tad bit of regression there. And Alvin Kamara, surprisingly enough, isn't getting enough talks for how he's performed this year. Alvin Kamara has looked like the best halfback in football this year because Alvin Kamara has really been carrying this New Orleans Saints offense on his back. Not just running the football, but in terms of what he's done in the passing game for the New Orleans Saints. He pretty much, ever since Michael Thomas has went down with that injury, has been their best wide receiver. And he's not even a wide receiver, he's a halfback. So he's been their best option in the passing game. Tampa Bay needs to take him away. And you have the time to do that. You have two great linebackers that are really good in coverage. You have Levante David and you have Devin White. So both of those two guys are going to be really critical in the game plan when it comes to slowing down Alvin Kamara. You also have Michael Thomas. If he comes back, he's going to have a big role. How is Carlton Davis or Jamar Dean, whoever gets matched up with Michael Thomas, if he plays, how are they going to perform? Because Michael Thomas, believe it or not, is a really big part of this offense. And a lot of people, if you didn't know already, showed why Michael Thomas is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL because look how different this Saints offense looks when he wasn't in the lineup. It looks like they were barely struggling to move the ball downfield. Like they were moving the ball downfield, but it was like 3, 4, 5 yards. So if you ever question Michael Thomas' value to the Saints offense, well, now you know. The past 8 weeks, this offense hasn't looked the same. So now if he's able to return to play in this game, I'm expecting this offense to bounce back to what it was last season. So this is a game that's most likely going to decide the NFC South division, which we already knew before the season began that the NFC South was going to come down to these two teams. It was either going to be between the Saints and the Falcons. Now, Carolina has kind of exceeded expectations. They kind of made things a little bit interesting. But at this point, I think Carolina, you pretty much have to disclude them from the conversation. It was fun while it lasted. But me personally, the team that I got to take to win this game, I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers win this one 31-28 is my final score prediction. And I don't think the New Orleans Saints are going to sweep or mop the floor with Tampa Bay this year. Tampa Bay is just way too talented of a team. The last time you faced the Buccaneers, that was their first time together. Now you're facing a Buccaneers team that has chemistry, timing, everything down packed. So this is a Buccaneers team that is really hot right now. And in my opinion, this is the best team in the NFC, and I think they're going to prove it in this game right here. I think they win. I'm taking the Buccaneers to win. I do not think they cover, though. The spread going into this game as of Wednesday, November 4th, 4:47 a.m. in the morning is Buccaneers by 5.5. I don't think they cover that 5.5. I think if you're betting on this game, you would take the Saints with the under. So I'm choosing the Buccaneers to win outright, but I'm choosing the Saints to cover. I don't think the Buccaneers win this one by more than a touchdown. So give me the Buccaneers 31-28. My final score prediction, I'm taking the Buccaneers to get the win.